The placement of the moon in the 12th house is one of the most profound, sensitive, and often misunderstood positions in a natal chart. In astrology, the moon represents our emotional nature, our subconscious needs, and our sense of security. The 12th house, often called the house of the unseen, governs the subconscious, solitude, spirituality, and things that are hidden from the public eye. When these two forces merge, the result is a personality characterized by deep emotional complexity and an almost psychic permeability to the world around them. The subconscious ocean. For those with a 12th house moon, emotions are not lived on the surface. While a first house moon wears their heart on their sleeve, a 12th house moon keeps their heart in a locked vault, not necessarily out of secrecy, but because the emotions themselves are so vast and nebulous that they are difficult to define. You likely feel the undercurrents of a room the moment you walk in. This can lead to a phenomenon known as emotional sponging, where you inadvertently absorb the moods, anxieties, and energies of others, often mistaking them for your own. The need for retreat. The primary challenge of this placement is the desperate need for solitude to decompress from the world's psychic noise. Security for you is found in the void, the quiet spaces where no one is asking anything of you. Without regular periods of isolation, you can become overwhelmed, leading to a sense of emotional burnout or unexplained fatigue. This is the classic hermit signature. You retreat not because you dislike people, but because your inner world is so loud that you need silence to hear your own thoughts. The mother and the early environment. In traditional astrology, the moon represents the mother or the primary caregiver. With the moon in the 12th, the relationship with the mother figure is often shrouded in some form of mystery or absence. This doesn't always mean a physical absence. It could mean the mother was emotionally unavailable, struggling with her own private sorrows, or perhaps she was a highly spiritual or self-sacrificing figure. Consequently, you may have grown up feeling that your own emotional needs were too much or that you had to keep them hidden to avoid burdening those around you. This often creates a hidden child archetype within the adult personality. Spiritual and creative depth. On a higher vibrational level, the 12th house moon is a direct pipeline to the collective unconscious. This placement is common among gifted artists, poets, and healers. Your imagination is a vivid, technicolor landscape. Because the veil between your conscious mind and the spirit world is thin, you may experience prophetic dreams, intense intuition, or a natural talent for psychology and the occult. You understand the suffering of others on a cellular level, giving you a capacity for compassion that is nearly limitless. The shadow side, escapism and fog. The danger of a 12th house moon lies in the urge to escape. When the emotional weight of the world becomes too heavy, there is a temptation to retreat into unhealthy manifestations of the 12th house, such as substance use, excessive daydreaming, or a martyr complex where you lose yourself in helping others to avoid dealing with your own internal chaos. Because the moon's energy is hidden here, you may also struggle with identifying what you actually feel. You might experience a fog where you know you are upset but cannot pinpoint why. Integration and peace. To find balance, it is essential to develop strong emotional boundaries. Learning where you end and others begin is your life's work. Embracing your sensitivity as a superpower rather than a burden allows you to navigate the world without being drowned by it. When you honor your need for privacy and channel your deep emotional reservoir into creative or spiritual pursuits, the 12th house moon becomes a source of immense inner peace and profound wisdom that few others can access. You are the guardian of the inner world, reminding us all that there is far more to life than what can be seen with the eyes. Natal, you are a psychic lighthouse in a deep ocean, possessing a vast and sacred inner world that requires frequent solitude to process the profound emotional energies you absorb from the universe. Transit, the universe is pulling a curtain over your external life for a few days, inviting you to retreat, release the month's psychic weight, and listen to the whispers of your subconscious before you begin anew. When the moon resides in the 12th house, the zodiac sign it inhabits colors the specific flavor of your subconscious retreats and the way you process hidden emotions. Aries. Here, the typical lunar impulsivity is internalized. You may experience sudden bursts of private anger or a hidden drive for independence that you don't show the world. You protect your vulnerability with a hidden warrior spirit, often feeling a need to handle emotional crises entirely on your own. Taurus. Your inner world is a sanctuary of sensory comfort. You likely have a deep, secret need for physical stability and may find emotional peace through solitary activities like gardening or cooking. You hold on to subconscious impressions for a long time, making it difficult to let go of the past. Gemini. This placement creates a very busy subconscious. Your dreams are likely talkative or linguistic, and you may find yourself overanalyzing your feelings in private. There is a tendency to use intellectualization as a defense mechanism to avoid the raw, messy depths of the 12th house. Cancer. This is a double dose of lunar energy, making you an emotional powerhouse but also extremely sensitive. You are the ultimate psychic sponge, feeling the collective pain of the world. You need a literal or metaphorical shell to crawl into, as your internal life is more real to you than the external world. Leo. You possess a secret nobility and a deep need to be appreciated, though you may feel it is vain to ask for it. Your private imagination is dramatic and creative. You likely express your deepest emotions through hidden acts of generosity or secret artistic projects that you rarely show others. Virgo. Your subconscious is highly analytical and prone to private worrying. You may feel a karmic need to be of service, often doing behind-the-scenes work that goes unnoticed. Your emotional health is tied to a sense of inner order, and you may struggle with psychosomatic symptoms when your mind is troubled. Libra. There is a profound, hidden longing for the ideal partnership. You may sacrifice your own emotional needs to maintain a sense of internal peace or to avoid conflict. Your subconscious is refined and artistic, but you may struggle with feeling incomplete when you are alone. Scorpio. This is perhaps the most intense placement, as the moon is in its fall and hidden in the house of secrets. Your emotional life is transformative, involving deep deaths and rebirths that no one else sees. You have a laser-like intuition and can sense the hidden motives of others with startling accuracy. Sagittarius. Your subconscious seeks meaning and freedom. You may feel a private restlessness or a longing for a spiritual home that isn't of this world. Your dreams are often expansive or philosophical, and you find emotional renewal through solitary study or long walks in nature. Capricorn. There is a wise old soul quality to your inner life. You are emotionally self-disciplined, often to a fault, keeping your feelings under strict management. You may have felt a heavy sense of responsibility from a young age, leading to a private fear of emotional vulnerability. Aquarius. Your emotions are channeled through a lens of detachment or the bigger picture. You may feel like an outsider or a visitor to the human experience. Your subconscious is tuned into the future or the collective needs of humanity, often making you more comfortable with groups than with intimate, one-on-one vulnerability. Pisces. In its natural house, the moon in Pisces is the ultimate mystic. The boundaries between your soul and the universe are almost non-existent. You are profoundly compassionate and may possess genuine mediumistic or healing abilities, but you must be careful not to drown in the ocean of the collective psyche. A transit of the moon through the 12th house is a brief but potent period that occurs for about 2.5 days every month. While the sun or outer planets transiting this house can signal major life overhauls or long periods of isolation, the moon's transit is a subtle emotional tide that pulls you inward, away from the noise of the external world. It is the final stage of the lunar cycle through the houses, serving as a period of processing, purging, and preparing for a new emotional beginning. The dissolving of the ego. When the moon enters the 12th house, the barrier between your conscious mind and your subconscious becomes permeable. You may feel a sudden drop in physical energy or a fogginess that makes it difficult to engage with mundane tasks like spreadsheets or social obligations. This isn't laziness, it is a neurological and spiritual imperative to rest. The 12th house represents the womb and the grave, the space between lives, and during this transit, your ego temporarily dissolves so that you can reconnect with your soul. Emotional house cleaning. This transit often brings up ghosts from the past month. Feelings you suppressed, conversations you brushed off, or anxieties you didn't have time to process will rise to the surface. It is a common time for vivid, strange, or even prophetic dreams. Because the 12th house is the dustbin of the zodiac, the moon here acts like a psychic vacuum, pulling up the hidden debris of your life. If you feel unexpectedly tearful or moody during these few days, it is usually just your emotional body releasing what it no longer needs to carry into the next cycle. The urge to disappear. The most notable hallmark of this transit is the desire for anonymity. You may find yourself wanting to turn off your phone, cancel plans, or spend your lunch break alone in a park. There is a sense that interacting with others is draining, largely because your psychic boundaries are lowered. You are more susceptible to picking up on the moods and vibrations of the people around you, which can lead to a sense of overwhelm. Solitude becomes a form of medicine during this transit, allowing you to filter out external noise and recalibrate your internal compass. Spiritual lucidity. For those on a spiritual path, the moon's passage through the 12th house is one of the most rewarding times of the month. Your intuition is at its peak. This is an ideal window for meditation, journaling, tarot readings, or any form of contemplative practice. The insights you receive now aren't logical, they are felt truths that emerge from the silence. You may find that you have more compassion for yourself and others, seeing the world not through the lens of conflict, but through the lens of universal connection and shared suffering. Navigating the shadow. The trap of this transit is falling into escapism or self-undoing. Because the 12th house can be heavy, there is a temptation to numbing the sensitivity through excessive sleep, scrolling, or substances. If you fight the need for rest, the 12th house moon can manifest as forced isolation, such as a sudden cold or a minor mishap that requires you to stay home. The key is to lean into the surrender. By honoring this short period of retreat, you clear the way for the moon to hit your first house, the ascendant, in a few days, which will bring a fresh burst of vitality and a renewed sense of self. Subscribe, like, and share.